What is up? Welcome back to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined today by Tyler Hicks and Titletown. Title, we had so much fun talking NFL with you, but I think this is our first time having you on an NBA show this year. And we don't have too many games, so we can kind of delve off topic like we kind of do on Thursdays with JSU, just giving you fair warning. But hey, let's get started. I heard your thoughts on the NFL every week. What are your thoughts on the NBA this season, and how did the All-Star break treat you?
Yeah, All-Star break did not treat me very well. I'm a degenerate. I know. I always knew I was a degenerate. Of course, you have to make money to do it for a living and stuff. But man, I was in the college basketball streets, the League of Legends streets, NASCAR, hockey. I mean, you name it, I was in there. And that's a good thing about Run Pure Sports is, you just have the playbook. You don't have to know everything about the sport, know all the players. They got it covered for you. But I'm definitely excited for the bread and butter NBA to be back. First half of the year, it's just so interesting because COVID for a long period of stretch. So you were getting G League guys out there. It's that's why the standings are kind of at some places. It's like the Nets, the Bucks. Like you got to expect some of these teams to move up, and Phoenix ran pretty pure with the COVID and all that stuff. Now, Chris Paul, the big story, he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. For DFS-wise, we'll get into it. But Booker, Ayton get massive bumps. Who knows who's going to start? Aaron Holiday, maybe. So, it's going to be interesting the second half of the season. And we're going to get into March and at the end of the year where teams are just tanking and you just find random guys like earlier. So I'm excited for the second half of the season and hope the Bucks can go back-to-back.
Hey, it's looking pretty good. Obviously, the trade, which I think helped both teams, Brooklyn and Philadelphia, made their path a little harder. But hey, there's something to be said for some continuity and the confidence, right, that these guys can get it done. Tyler, do I look a little more tan? I was managed to do a little hiking out there, got some sunshine, enjoyed my break. What did you do during the All-Star break, Tyler?
I watched the All-Star game and the All-Star events, but other than that, we do both NFL and NBA spread. We get like 1 week off a year. I turned both my phones off and left them in the desk and just didn't talk to anybody for a couple days. We need those kind of days here and there.
That's how you do it.
Yep. I burrowed myself in a hole and I was like, nobody bothered me.
Yeah, I do actually. I love being out there on those hiking trails because I do lose reception, right? So I, even if I want to check Twitter, right, and get that dopamine hit, boy, it's nice to just get some time with your thoughts to yourself. And I know, some people miss it, but I feel completely refreshed, and I'm so excited now. I took the time off, and I'm really excited to attack these last 22 games of the season. So let's jump right in. But Title, I got to warn you, right, because I haven't talked to you a lot. We might be going a little bit off pace as I get your thoughts on these teams' outlook for the whole season. And I think this first team is one that I'll be definitely wanting to hear your opinion on. It is the Cleveland Cavaliers. They'll be in Detroit taking on the Pistons. Pistons catching 6 points at home, a total of 209. Tyler, actually, we'll start with you. I really like the Pistons at the opening number of 7.5. It moved through that key number of 7, and I'm not surprised here because I do like the way that the Pistons do play at home. I think they have a nice matchup tonight, and let me double check this. I don't want to give out any wrong news, right? But Darius Garland and Karis LeVert out for Cleveland. That should cause some issues here on the offensive end. I'm starting our season back taking an underdog. Even at +6, I like the Pistons. I love them at 7.5. I'm trading a little lightly here. I do think the market was correct in the move. What do you think, Tyler? Was the market correct? And was that too many points for the Cavaliers to start?
No, I think so, especially after the injury news. They're going to have really no ball handler out there. It's back to Cedi Osman or Rondo for these little spurts of minutes. I think they still win the game, but if you could have got him at 7.5 before the injury news, I think you're sitting in a good spot. I also like the under here spread. How are they going to put up points with no guard to set up the offense? It's just going to be slow built basketball. They're going to go down, get it to the big guys, and just let them feast on these little short guys for Detroit. So the only way I'm playing this game would be the Jared Allen double-double and win. You get it at about +120 on FanDuel.
All right, and that's been a lucrative one for us so far this season. Title, let's start with your thoughts on the game, but then also I want to know what your outlook is for the Cavaliers going into the playoffs, and we'll assume that they're going to be healthy for that.
Yeah, so for today's game, I mean, I agree with you. Pistons at home, they battle. I mean, if you look at the roster, it's not awful. I do like what they did with Bagley, but like Jeremy Grant, Sadiq Bey, Cade Cunningham, like Isaiah Stewart, these guys, they play hard. They're capable of big nights. Cade, their bench isn't the worst. So, yeah, I think I'm with you. I mean, Cavs without LeVert, without Garland, I mean, the backcourt, that is Rondo, Okoro. If you guys, a lot of people listen to this from Run Pure Sports, you know I'm the most anti-Okoro guy. So people are going to talk 3.3K. I'm not going to play him. That's for sure. Rondo, I think, is interesting. A DFS 3.9K. The starting lineup's going to be interesting. We'll get that. So that'll answer a lot of questions. But, man, if Rondo slides in and starts at 3.9K, you'd have to have a lot of interest. He's always a good fantasy point per minute producer. It's just the minutes that are uncertain. But if he starts, I'd like him a lot. Outside of that, I mean, yeah, Bagley 3-4. You still don't know where the minutes are and stuff. Mobley's going to have to carry a big role at 7K, so I think he's interesting in the mid-tier. I'm with you on the betting side. Tyler leans the under. I think I lean the under too, so I don't want to go too heavy on this game. As far as the Cavs in the playoffs, like, yeah, you got to like the roster, Mobley, Jared Allen, Garland, all that, but the East is just so loaded now. Like, are you going to beat Giannis in 7? Are you going to beat Embiid and Harden in 7? Are you going to beat Kevin Durant? Are you going to beat Tatum, Schroeder? Like, now Boston's a pretty tough team too. Like, I just think they're a little too inexperienced. Mobley's going to have to carry him a little bit. Garland's a stud, but I just don't think it's enough. So you got to love with the Cleveland. No one predicted that they'd be in this situation now, but man, I'd be lying if I thought they could really make a push.
All right, and I got a question here from the chat. Did Goodwin start without Garland before the break? And if he does start, are you interested in any Goodwin?
Yeah, so I think he did. I think Goodwin's gonna start over Rondo. Maybe they put Rondo in there. I don't know. I want it to be Rondo since I feel way more comfortable. I think Goodwin probably will start. I think they did do that. He's 4K. Rondo's 3.9. I think I probably even prefer Rondo, even if he doesn't start, to be honest. And then he runs the second unit and gets more usage. But yeah, more that I look at, I think Goodwin will start.
All right, and this is so much fun breaking down the NBA. And we got all our buddies back in the chat. We the people, Otter on the over, Jonathan Nelson, Ricardo Alvarez, Cesar Martinez, Diesel 72, Drew Carpenter, Kevin Clunan. What up, Gregory Russo? Glad to have you guys all here and going along with us. Oh, and don't forget Gary USCG. Who will be with us on Monday breaking down these games as the NBA season is basically in full swing right now, right? I mean, all these teams have to be pressing the pedal to the metal. These games always matter, but it feels like it more when you have so few left. Tyler, anything more on this game before we move to the next one?
Well, I want to hear both your thoughts on the Cavs situation. I mean, you guys have probably talked about it in the show, and I don't know it, but your thoughts on how far they really can go.
I think you make a good point.
Yeah,
go ahead,
Tyler. Fred. No, go ahead, Fred. I'll finish off.
He said that they're playing great this season, right? But how is the first round matchup gonna go for them now? Right now they're 4th. I'd have to look who's 5th right now.
The Bucks. East. Celtics are 6th.
Yeah, you don't want that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think because they're a lottery team for so many years since LeBron left. They have goodwill just making the playoffs, right? And you look at a team like Memphis, right? Last year, they got bounced in the first round, right? But they took that experience and they built upon it. So I think they match up well with the Celtics, if it ends up landing there. But boy, a lot of these teams are going to be tough, even if they drew like a Toronto or someone. But I think, whatever experience they get in the playoffs will be fine. But you're right. I think it's kind of hard to project them even making it to the second round. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, no experience really on that team outside of a few vets. I think maybe they can catch a few matchups in the first round and they could win. Like if they catch Brooklyn in the first round spread and they're still reeling, their big men are going to walk right through Brooklyn. Like it's going to take KD.
There's no way I'm betting against KD though. Yeah.
But I mean,
Andre Drummond revenge game.
If it's just him out there, I mean, those big guys can keep him out of the paint. That jumper starts to slow down. All of a sudden, they're losing. He's fed up with it. So I think that's the only matchup they can win in the East. I don't think they're beating Miami. I don't think they're beating Milwaukee. maybe Chicago, I think, because I don't trust Chicago's defense at all. Everyone's pinned in on them to be the Eastern Conference favorites. I don't see it. I think
a lot of people don't believe in the Chicago team.
No, I think it's the Bucks and the Heat.
Yeah, I will say too with the Cavs. I'm not saying they're regular season teams, but you got to look at it. Like you see a lot of top heavy teams like take scheduled losses. We talk about it sometimes on the Up to Lock show and stuff like that. This Cavs team, man, every single game they're playing to win. They're well coached. They play hard. Like they get like any team on their off night or they're just not there mentally or it is a scheduled loss. Like they beat those teams. They don't lose games. They really like they should lose or should win. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the Bucks, you see them do it all the time. Or Philly gets beat by 50. You just don't really see that with the Cavs. So really well coached and all that. But we know playoff basketball is a different beast than regular season.
And we got to say what's up to our guy Joey Work, currently traveling, trying to work with Rob Manfred and the Players Union to make sure this baseball season starts on time. So Joey, I hope that your help in those negotiations gets something resolved. Two teams, hey, let's talk about playoff expectations here. The Boston Celtics, man, I was ready to write them off around December and January, guys. I was ready to say, we got to trade one of these guys. Tatum and Brown isn't working together. Why did you add Schroeder? Blah, 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 blah. This team's won 9 of their last 10 games, and they've looked fantastic while doing it, right? Brown and Tatum have looked great, right? They jettisoned Schroeder to bring in old friend Daniel Tice. I don't necessarily hate that. It's just a depth move, and the guy's not going to demand the ball, and he's going to be happy just getting 10 to 15 minutes a night. So I thought that was a plus move for the Celtics, trying to get some depth going into the playoffs. Now they're facing a Brooklyn Nets team that will still be without the services of Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons tonight. And of course, since it's a home game, no Kyrie Irving. If you're a Nets fan, good news on that front. I don't know if it's official, but I was reading somewhere that I think that the changes are going to be made in the way that works, and that Irving will be able to play in the home games. And I'll tell you what, my thoughts on everything aside, just as an NBA fan, I'm happy, man, because that would have just been so weird for them to not have them play in the home game. And then I could already see it now, right? If the Bucks win or the Heat beat them, right? Well, everyone say, well, they didn't have their best player on the home games, right? And it would kind of give that asterisk in there. As fans, we always want to see the best. And even if you're a fan, Tyler, like you're a Milwaukee fan, right? You want you don't want to win because of injuries, right? You
For
want
sure.
to win beating the best. So I'm glad that he's back in there, but he will not be in there tonight because I don't know when those rules affects going to hey, I'm just getting back here too. And I saw something on there about Twitter yesterday and I didn't look into it that much, but I do know for tonight's game, he will be out. Boy, the Celtics team is playing so well, but they're laying 9 on the road against a Brooklyn team that's been pretty scrappy. I thought Drummond is an underrated acquisition for this team because I think the biggest weakness for the Nets, and one of the reasons I picked the Bucks last year, was their inability to get it done on the glass. I think Drummond's a great rebounder. And another thing that he does for this team, right, when KD and Simmons are back, is he gives you that kind of defensive rebounding potential, right? So if the Bucks are ahead, the Nets are ahead in the fourth quarter, they can run a lineup with Drummond, right? And they get the defensive shot blocking and they get the rebounding. When they're behind, they can go small, throw those shooters around. I think it's a great option there for Steve Nash. I thought that was kind of an underrated pickup in the trade, and I'm surprised Philadelphia did that. I assume it's because they didn't want to get rid of Matisse Thybulle. So we'll see how that turns out. Might end up backfiring, right? Because I think that really gave the Nets a huge advantage rebounding. Tyler, what, man, I'm not sure how to approach this game. The numbers are going to tell you to take Brooklyn. Do you trust the numbers, though? Because, we have barely seen this team together. Celtics have been playing well. 9's a lot to lay on the road. I'm kind of lost going into this one. Kind of show me the way here, Tyler.
No, give me Boston in this one spread. Brooklyn's still going to run out that G League squad. Basically, it's going to be Seth Curry and Drummond. Seth Curry is going to catch Marcus Smart defense, so he's not doing much. If he's not catching Marcus Smart defense, it's probably Jaylen Brown. So I don't see him making a big impact. They're 2-8 straight up in their last 10 spread. Those 2 wins. One was against New York, who blew 3 25-plus point leads last month.
Yeah.
And the other one was against the Kings on the road. We know how.
Look at our favorite teams helping out Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, so give me Boston here. They're 4-1 straight up in ATS in their last 5 on the road. I think they smash them here. Marcus Smart put up 20 and 22 against his team in the first 2 matchups this year. You can get a 15-plus point win or an 18-plus point win on him. I like both of those. And then I like We the People's call the Robert Williams double and win, because he should just feast on the inside.
That's so crazy. The guy shows up late 2 times. He's been Time Lord for the rest of his career. Right? Titletown, how are you approaching this one?
Yeah, no, I'm with Tyler. I mean, I just mentioned Boston last game when we were talking about the standings, but man, they have played well. And Derek White's a huge acquisition. I mean, he's just way more elite and way more of a threat than Richardson is. So their bench is fine. And this Nets team, yeah, they just don't really have anybody. I'm a fan of Cam Thomas, so they have some scoring off the bench. Kessler Edwards hasn't really been a scorer. Bruce Brown, he had his one game where he had 9 stocks or whatever, but he doesn't do much. Patty Mills is limited. And yeah, like Jaylen Brown, stud defender. Marcus Smart, stud defender. Like this Boston team's tough. I mean, I'm much more scared of them than I am the Cavs and some of these other teams. So yeah, the Nets without their best players against fully healthy Boston team, I think, yeah, laying the 9 definitely makes some sense. As far as DFS wise, Boston's just all the way healthy. If you want to go a Jaylen Brown or a Tatum and just one off a stud, you can. They always have upside. But if you think the game's going to blow out, you're going to want them to get all the run. I probably won't go there today, but that's the only stuff I would touch on Boston. As far as the Nets, I mean, like James Johnson, like they're so shorthanded. If he gets the start at power forward, the Nets, you never know what Nash sometimes does. He mixes it up. But if James Johnson starts 3.5K, he's a good fantasy point per minute producer. Think he would be a strong play. And then, yeah, I mean, Seth Curry, he runs the offense. If you want to do Bruce Brown or something. Drummond, man, he only played 19 minutes last game. Like his foul trouble is ridiculous. So that's always a concern. But then like Nash didn't even like put him back in. I think he played like a minute and then they took him back out in the fourth quarter. So I'm still a little nervous what the front court minutes look like since they have so many bodies. So James Johnson would be my favorite if he starts.
Let's grab a couple questions from the chat. Ricardo Alvarez wants to know, and I'll throw this one to you. What do you think of the team total over there for Boston tonight, Tyler?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm not sure exactly on the number on it, but I'd have to go look. It's got to be somewhere right around like 110, I'd say.
It's like 111 I'm seeing, but it's...
Yeah, I mean, they should blow that number out of the water against Brooklyn.
Yeah, I see 111.5 minus 120 on bookmakers. So definitely other people think that too, as the market seems to be leaning over. And we'll get both of you guys on this one, but we'll start with you, Tyler. You mentioned Marcus Smart. Does that scare you away from a Seth Curry over 15.5 points, or do you think the usage will be so high he gets there?
I mean, the usage could be there where he gets there, but I'm not looking to bet any Seth Curry props tonight with the defense he could get on this Boston side. I mean, he's going to be the first option. He's going to be the main focal point for their defense, so I'm not touching his props tonight. He could easily go over it, but I'm not touching him.
Yeah, I mean, even if Smart plays well, the usage could get him there, and they are switching. We'll see if they try and get individual matches. But let's be honest, Seth Curry's not necessarily, this huge shot creator. He's definitely one of the guys that says, hey, you can't double off me because I'll hit wide open shots. He's more of a spacer, not a creator. What do you think, Title?
Yeah, I have no strong lean on that. There's enough games. I don't think you have to bet that personally. If you have a strong lean, though, you bet it.
Yeah, I mean, the usage might get you there. I think it's a tough one. And I think, if you've watched this, you'll see ones where Tyler's found a huge edge for props. But if you think you're seeing something that we are not seeing, we can't necessarily discourage it either. Let's talk about the Atlanta Hawks.
Wow, these next 2 games, these totals, you don't see these very often.
I'm happy about it, man.
Yeah,
let's see some scoring back. And there's a reason, right? Because as let's see, who was that? Drew in our chat said Chicago's missing their 3 best defenders, right? They're going against an offensive juggernaut in the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young averaging 29 points per game over his last 9 games. Bogdanovic has gone over 20, I think, in 2 of the last 3 games, had 23 in their last outing, right? So this team is definitely scoring. I'm also high on Onyeka Okongwu, because the team's fully healthy tonight, right? I don't know if he makes your lineups title, but I know that on the DFS side, you guys have to notice this guy's fantasy points per minute because he's not getting the run. But you have to keep an eye on him because when he does,
minutes tonight spread.
You think so?
John Collins doubtful, Georgie Gang out. Like he's getting minutes tonight.
Okay, well, go ahead. I mean, that's pretty much my spiel there. You break this down. Hawks are catching 3.5 in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I know I said they don't play much defense, but I like them here. Give me Chicago. I mean, no Collins. Williams is questionable. Georgie Dang's out. Like, it's basically Trae Young or bust. Like, Clint Capella's not putting up 20 and 15 in this spot. So I got to roll with Chicago. They're not going to have any guy to check DeMar. Levine's back. He should put up a ton of points too. So I like him 25 plus and win. And if you think DeMar just keeps rolling on, you could do his 35 plus and win. But I like Levine better in this spot.
Yeah, DeMar over 30 points in the last 9 games. Title, what do you think?
Man, this one's really tough. I know DFS-wise, I have more interest in the Hawks because they're more shorthanded, and the prices are good. Like, if you're looking at it, Trae Young, he has been on an absolute roll. You can always play Trae Young. He's still below 10K. I say that he's 9.9K, but he makes a lot of sense. 240.5 total. Like, we just don't see that this year. 239 or something's the next game, but Trae dominates in these situations. I think the usage is definitely going to be there. I think the pick and rolls are going to be there. I think Trae definitely has a big game. So I'm going to say I probably lean Atlanta a little bit. Maybe that's just because I like the players more in DFS, which definitely does not correlate. I would definitely take Tyler and spreads betting advice on this show over mine. But for the Hawks side, like Kevin Huerter, 4.6. I had never played Gallo, but like he's in play at 4.4. I'm not going to play him. There's DeAndre Hunter, 4.5, Capella, 5.8. Like, these prices are good on the Hawks, and they have enough injuries in a high total game. And spread, if you like Okongwu, I think he's a fine play, and I don't think anybody plays him at 3.6. And I agree the minutes are going to trend up a little bit. The reason why no one's really going to play him is A, he's a backup. Center's always loaded. And, yeah, center's always loaded, and you only can play 2 of them max. He's 3.6. Like, people just don't play backup centers. So, man, I think that's a sneaky play to get you different instantly. Play a Trae Young with him or something maybe. My favorite bull would be Zach LaVine, 8.7, but I probably am just going to play Hawks in this game.
What's DeRozan priced at? Because he seems like he'd be a safe cash play.
Yeah, I mean, 10.7. Like,
that's too high, right?
And he's a guy that's like just – I mean, he's not just scoring dependent, but, man, most of his points is like if he's putting up 40 real ones – and the peripherals aren't as much, where that's always more nerve-wracking when you're paying a price tag like 10.7. But it's warranted. What a year he is put on.
And hey, we come on this show every day and we give takes, and sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. I didn't think the addition was going to help him that much. But not only has he played great, it really feels like his veteran leadership has gone over, especially to a guy like Zach LaVine. And I'm talking about when you have a lead, less than 5 minutes, controlling the tempo, right? You don't need to rush up a shot, right? You need to attack the rim. You need to move close. You don't settle for step back threes. And I think that not only watching it, but also through, coach and the council, right? I mean, it's really been a big help to Billy Donovan to help this team learn how to win. So, hey, I'll take the L on that one. And DeMar DeRozan, you deserve all the respect and credit in the world. Hey, a couple people in the chat do like the under. We, the people, and Ricardo Alvarez both like the under. Tyler, this is a high total. Are you with them on the under, or do you think this could be a game that's in the 250s, 260s?
No, I'm giving me the under in this one spread.
Okay.
If we get beat by overtime like we did on our last 240, so be it. I don't think they're getting there. Fresh off the All-Star break, like if you get any lulls in this game where they're just taking shots and missing them, that total is just going to fall off a cliff. So give me the under.
Tito, do you have any leans here on the under? Gregory Russo's pretty happy about all these leans.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a lot of points. First game back of the Alls. I mean, I my lean is definitely the under 2. But the only way, like, if Trae Young gets hot from deep, like way deep, and he just keeps chucking, that's the only way I really see it going over. But man, 240.5. Like, this has to be the biggest or second biggest total we've seen this year. Is it not? Like, I can't really think of others. Every time when I'm on the Hardwood show, I say the total, and it just rarely is at 240 this year.
Yeah, we had a couple others, right? What was our one? The 243 or the 244 that we hit?
Opening night was a 240, Brooklyn.
Opening night, yeah. Opening
and then a Hornets game, right?
And then 2 days later, they adjusted big time.
Last week, there was a Hornets game that was in the 240s. I think they played Memphis.
Makes sense.
And don't quote me on this. I'm going off the top of my head, but I think something like in the last 5 years, after the All-Star break, the overs hitting 58%. Maybe the books are a little shaded off numbers like that. Let's talk about the other big total tonight. The Memphis Grizzlies -2 in Minnesota, taking on the Timberwolves. Tyler, Karl Anthony Towns said, "I'm the best shooting center of all time." We kind of scoffed, and he backed up his words by winning the 3-point contest. Now they face a tough task, and one of the teams that we've loved to back. I know that you've had problems catching them on the right night, but we both agree that this is a great team. And John Morant, sneaking into that MVP conversation, maybe not this year with the other players around Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid seem to be the top three, right? But he's right there in that second tier and really poised to make a leap if he continues to play like this. I personally like the Grizzlies. My idea is, right, the Timberwolves run their offense through Karl Anthony Towns, and I think the Grizzlies have multiple different ways to give him tough looks. They got Steven Adams, strong post defender. Towns isn't going to be able to just get easy post position and work down low. Let's say he wants to bring Adams outside. Well, that's fine. We'll just switch to Jaren Jackson Jr. We'll have him on the perimeter. He's versatile, strong, athletic, right? And I think he can keep pace and keep in front of Towns. And even when those two are on the bench, or if one of them gets into foul trouble, I even think that Brandon Clark can provide some pretty good defense there on Karl Anthony Towns. That kind of puts the ball into the hands of Russell and Anthony Edwards, who are both great players. But let's be honest, Memphis has great perimeter defense. And this is a great team that they switch well. They're long, they're athletic, and they really can shut teams down on the perimeter and the point of attack. We don't have a big injury report in this tonight. I think Xavier Tillman, game time decision. Dylan Brooks still out for the Grizzlies, but boy, they've been fine without him so far this season. I like the Grizzlies to get it done here. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm with you. Give me the Grizzlies here. I mean, just like you said, both teams are pretty much 100% outside of a few little injuries. Brooks is still out for Memphis. But, I mean, I just think you see a ton of points in this game. I know I picked the under in the last game. I'm going to take the over in this one because I could see D'Angelo Russell and Ant pushing it one way and Jaw and these guys coming right back down the other end at 100 miles an hour. So I like the over. I think Memphis wins. And you look at some of the stats between these two teams when they've played. Memphis 8-1 last 9 matchups versus Minnesota ATS, and they're 5-1 ATS the last 6 in Minnesota. I just think it's a weird matchup for him. Minnesota caught him in that one game earlier in the year where they shot like 30% from the field, and Minnesota turned around and shot about 60%. So the score just ballooned up. They beat them by about 40. I think Memphis comes back and gets the W here. You're getting a short line at -2. I think they win. I think they win the game by about 5.
Yeah,
Tyler, we've been pretty high on the Grizzlies so far this season. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm high on this Grizzlies team too. Ja's just a complete stud. Everything you mentioned, like Desmond Bane can play defense, knocks down the three. Steven Adams, he can bang with the best of them down below. Jaren Jackson, I mean, he's always in foul trouble, which is a problem. But Brandon Clark, like you gotta love a man like Brandon Clark off the bench, just flies, protects the rim. Like I think this Memphis team's tough, and yeah, the Timberwolves. Once you get in the bench, like it's fine. Like I think Jaden McDaniel's fine, Malik Beasley streaky and stuff, but I think this Grizzlies team is better all around. And for DFS, like I think it's gonna go overlooked at 239.5. Ja Morant's 10-4. It's expensive, but I'd much rather play Ja than I would DeRozan personally. I just think the triple-double upside is there. You don't see it too much, but he really can just break the slate. And as far as a run back, yeah, like Towns has been playing really good ball at 9-8. I think I like him a little more than you. He's just so talented. He can find a way there. But if you don't like him, go on Anthony Edwards at 7-5 or D-Russ 7-7. I'm an Anthony Edwards guy, so I'd probably lean him. But I think going to Edwards and then running it back with Ja or just picking 2 studs in this game is a good tournament route. That's always something I like doing on a slate like this. Pick 2 studs in one game that goes overlooked. It's a 240 total. Like I don't know how it's going overlooked, but the prices are making it. So yeah, I think this is an interesting one. If you want to fill it in with a Jaden McDaniels or a Vanderbilt or someone cheap like that, you can play another part of it. But I like going to Ja and then either picking D-Russ or Edwards.
What if I went Edwards in the tournament for the upside and Russell with the safe ceiling in a cash game? How would you feel about that?
Yeah, I to be honest, personally, I don't like D-Russ. To me, I don't know if he's done me dirty so many times, but like, he doesn't just feel to be safe. Like I feel like he gets like 18 sometimes for me. You're 22, like, yeah. And Edwards the same thing. Neither of them are really safe just because they have the big 3 there. So I just would say you'd pick your favorite one, and probably in cash you don't play either of them. Towns is probably the cash play if any of them. But yeah, I think this game gets overlooked in a cash perspective, which obviously leads to tournaments, and I think it's interesting.
All right, let's talk about the rest of the season for both these teams. Title right now, currently the Grizzlies are in 3rd place, 41-19. Right, Phoenix first, 48-10. Maybe Alprom's catching them. But Golden State 42-17, that the second seed, is definitely in play here. And then let's look at Minnesota. They're currently in 7th. They want to get out of that play-in, right? They want to. Denver right ahead of them at 33-25. And then, of course, Dallas is 5th at 35-24. Do you see either of these teams moving up in the standings over these last 22 games?
I wouldn't be surprised if the Grizzlies took a 2 spot. I really wouldn't. As far as the Timberwolves, if all 3 of them stay healthy, this is a tough team every single night on it. So maybe I could see them going up a spot or 2. If they're all health means something, but all 3 of them healthy, and this team, Vanderbilt, McDaniels, they have athletic guys. I really think they both could move up a spot. As far as the West, how the Western Conference is going to go in the playoffs. I love the Suns for a long time last year. They're my team this year. I just don't know if a Grizzlies team or a Timberwolves. I really don't think Timberwolves, but if the Grizzlies can beat the Suns in 7 or something like that, maybe I'm a little biased, but I just don't know if they can do that. So I don't know what their ceiling really is. I'm curious what you guys think.
I actually think that they could. I wouldn't be surprised. And my idea is if Chris Paul is not going to be fully healthy. And Title, let me throw this.
You got to expect he'll be fully healthy come playoff time, right?
Or you could pull a hamstring again.
I was listening to some podcast. They were saying the way they framed this injury and the timetable for it, he falls in line with some surgery he might need on his thumb. And that surgery would fall right as the playoffs start if it gets bad. So that could be something that they factor into this too.
Yeah, gotcha.
And Title, let me throw something out there for you. Chris Paul is currently sidelined with the same injury that Jimmy G played through and led his team to the conference championship.
Let his team to what? What did he lead his team to? I haven't heard that name since I was on the show.
Win over Green Bay.
Yeah, they deserve that, but neither of them did anything. My Bengals, man, and my Bengals, by the way. Oh man, don't get me into this.
just had to throw that one out there. But the fun thing about this matchup tonight, Memphis and Minnesota, this could be the first round matchup, right? If the Timberwolves move up to 6 and Memphis stays at 3, or Memphis moves up to 2, the Timberwolves stay at 7.
When do you think it's really appropriate to start breaking that down? I feel like it's got to be. You really?
Yeah.
It doesn't move as much as
I'm just saying I'm watching it because I think all these games matter, right? Phoenix got a stranglehold. They're 6.5 ahead. I think it's going to be really hard for them to relinquish that number 1 spot. But 2 and 3, I think, can move around. Utah hasn't been playing well. I could see them relinquishing some spots now. They're 5.5 behind Minnesota, so I don't think Minnesota can get up that far. But if you're Dallas and you're only a game and a half behind, you got to be thinking, boy, we can get that home court against Utah. And Denver, 3 games behind Utah right now. But boy, if they were to reintegrate Jamal Murray in there, right, and win, 8 of 10 or something, right, those last 10 games, they'd be that proverbial team no one wants to face. So I'll tell you what, I'm looking at these standings every day now, and I think it's a lot of fun because so much of the NBA regular season doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Well, it matters now, and it's going these playoff seedings are really going to be decided here by these next 20 games. And I think that some of these players, especially the ones that are really taking it seriously, are thinking about that as well.
I don't think we see either of them or Jamal Murray this year spread or Michael Porter Jr. back. They reported yesterday that neither of those guys are even ready for contact in practice yet.
I'd be surprised with MPJ.
The sentence after that was take that for what you think it is, and just a period after that.
Was that Malone who said that?
No, it wasn't Malone. It was some beat writer for Denver. So he's basically telling you they're not playing this year.
That's too bad. Okay. Well, then in that case, maybe Denver's moving down in the standings, right? As Jokic gets worn out, basically, carrying this team. Boy, I thought I had a heavy backpack on hiking yesterday. That guy is carrying a lot of weight. So anyways, a lot of fun, right? As I said, if this was end up being a playoff matchup, I wouldn't be surprised. So I think the teams have to be thinking about that as well. The Phoenix Suns was another team that we're talking about. Like I said, with that 7-game lead, I think it's hard to imagine them relinquishing this. An interesting fact, right? We're worried about Chris Paul being out. This team is 4-0 in the 4 games that Chris Paul's missed since he was traded there to Phoenix. So they have been able to do well even when he's on the sideline. And I know that Title's going to have to talk about how Devin Booker's upside is so much higher now from a daily fantasy perspective. Tyler, boy, this is a tough one for me. The Oklahoma City Thunder, once again, catching double digits at home. I know Phoenix is awesome. I know Phoenix is this, but it's almost like that Pavlovian thing, right? Where if I do something and I get rewarded, I want to keep doing it. I've been betting the Thunder at home, catching a lot of points in this situation, and money's been going into my account. So it's like I don't want to stop. Now, Phoenix has been great against the spread as well, especially on the road. They're actually better against the spread on the road than they are at home. Boy, 2 trends, coming together, Tyler. How do you approach this one?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this injury report spread, I see Lou Dort's still out, so Booker should just have himself a field day. Mm-hmm. But the one name on here that's rolled in that I think could help OKC backdoor this game, SGA's back.
Now, tonight, is he?
Yes, he's off the injury report. He's playing. So, yeah, count that in.
I was waiting for that.
Oh, I capped it with him being out. Give me the Thunder. I'm on the Thunder.
He can easily backdoor this team on his own. So, me personally, I like Phoenix to win the game. I'm staying away from the side because I'm not getting backdoored. I'm going right to the player performance doubles. Give me 8 and double-double and win. Give me 8 and 20 plus and win. Give me Booker 30 plus and win. And if you want to have some fun and sprinkle a long shot, one of those 4 games when Paul missed, Booker triple-doubled. You're getting about 28 to 1 on that. I don't hate taking a shot on that here.
All right. And Title, boy, with Shea back, we got to have some interest here on the DFS side. Some pretty high upside there. Josh Giddey's a guy that's been playing really well with Shea out. How do you think that affects him, and how are you approaching this game?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm on your side, Sprite. 10.5 with SGA back and no Chris Paul. Like, I think OKC, but I agree with Tyler. Like, I do think Phoenix does win. But I'm on the OKC side with the points for sure. As far as DFS, yeah, I mean, SGA's priced 8.9K his first game back. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they went out and ran him 37 minutes. But they're also talking about limiting SGA weeks ago to 30 minutes. So I also don't know what OKC is really doing. And now that SGA is back, like, yeah, Giddey was really good. You can't play him with SGA back. I'm probably not going to pay 8-9 on SGA's first night. So OKC is more of a fade than I do like playing them. Like, if you want to play Poku or something who has a little upside, 4.1K, sure. As far as the Phoenix side, though, yeah, Devin Booker, he's the first person in a lot of people's lineups today. I'm on the cash chart. He's going to be a core play. He's 8-8 on DraftKings. Like, he should be 10K without Chris Paul in this spot. Tyler loves the triple-double and everything. Like, I think Booker is very, very strong. It's tournaments. You can fade anybody, but he's got a cash staple. Aaron Holiday is the one that's projected to start for him. 3.7K, just another really strong play. I mean, you're stepping into Chris Paul's role. Like, he's not going to have the same usage and all that, but you're just playing with really good basketball players, and they play team basketball. You just fall into points. So, yeah, 3.7K, Holiday, Booker, the 2 plays for DFS-wise. Anything else will kind of be contrarian.
I mean, Booker, what are you projecting for ownership, though? 8-8?
He'll probably be
40?
50%. Yeah.
Wow. Are you worried about that in tournaments? In cash, you're fine with that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cash, you're definitely fine. The thing about tournaments, so what? I'll sort it by salary. So the people in his range, SGA, the direct pivot, 100 more. Sabonis, 200 more. Like, Zach LaVine's 100 less. I mean, he's just projected so much better than every single person in that range.
Yeah, interesting.
That, and I'm more of a cash play. Like, Big T is gonna probably be on him. I mean, he's just a really strong play, and I'm a huge D-Book fan. Like, it's a really good spot. So
the more I get into this, the more I'm.
That's why excited. You play. That's why you should play like a Okongwu. The reason you play in a Okongwu is so you can eat Devin Booker chalk, which you think's good.
Okay, great. Yeah, see, I'm loving this game within the game, right? Where it's like, before I'd be like, oh, cool, I got Booker, and I'm so excited. I have this great play that should exceed, the points per dollar I spent. but then, you start to realize, well, I'm going up the leaderboard and everybody's got Booker that's ahead of me, right? So every time he scores, I'm not moving up the leaderboard.
If he goes off for you, he's going off for a lot of people. If he stinks and you don't have him, you move up the leaderboard faster than vice versa. So
I think that's a tough fade tonight, though. I think you eat the chalk and move on.
Exactly. Yeah. It's always a tough fade when you're talking about it before the games. It's always an easy fade after when they bust.
Of course. That's
right? How it goes.
But the game within the game on the DFS and the ownership projections, it's just so fascinating to me. And I think it's so much fun as I'm taking, my skills and abilities to the next level.
I don't know what I
a lot more time thinking about.
Sorry, I don't know what I said. Robert, new name. I said mean Giddey to 30 minutes. Yeah, when they said Giddey had a 30-minute limit like a month ago, like who knows what SGA the first game back is he going to get 37 minutes, which he was getting like. That news.
And did they throw that out after like 2 games? Didn't he hit like 37 or 38?
Well, it was also it was also an overtime game that game, but still, then we saw 38 minutes. So did they throw it out? It's hard to trust what OKC is going to do. There's teams out there where you just don't know. That's one of the teams. So I avoid those situations more than not.
And at what point does OKC stop the tank? At what point? I mean, they got all these assets.
My buddy's been telling me they're going to win an NBA Finals by 2024 for so long.
No, like 2030 maybe.
Yeah, I know, because of all these picks. They have how long have they been in rebuild? I'm wondering the same thing.
If they pulled it off by 2030, I'd be impressed, Fred.
Yeah, no, my buddy's tweeting
together in 8 seasons. They ain't got nothing built yet.
That's true.
I'm with you. My buddy's been saying this for since I was in high school. I don't know.
My guess is if they get that, so I think they really wanted that top 3 pick last year. I think as soon as they get a top 3 pick, they're going to pivot and maybe start shuttling some of these picks out and really building around.
You'd have to
guy. But
SGA is a stud. Giddey is a good You'd have to start. I don't know.
Yeah. So, all right. Hopefully, we cleared that up there, Robert, with getting the minutes limit wrong. But the end result was you can't necessarily take OKC at face value when it comes to what the coaches say about the minutes that the players are going to get. So we might have missed the names up, but the song remains the same. You can't trust Dejanol, I think is his name, right? When it comes to what he's saying. The Golden State Warriors are another team laying heavy points on the road against the Portland Trailblazers. Now, this line has moved a little bit towards Golden State. What happened? I didn't see anything that happened. How are we not taking Portland here? I'm grabbing 10 points at home. Anthony Simons' son, the team won 4 in a row, right? They beat Milwaukee. Who else did they beat? They beat another good team right before the break.
Well, Nurkic, did you know he's out? That's the only thing I can think.
He wasn't on the list, but
that's the only thing
he wasn't
I can
out.
Think of.
He was out when the line dropped when it was 8.5 or whatever.
I was just making sure you knew.
I mean, does that really matter to you too much? Going against the Golden State Warriors team that doesn't really have it's not like they have it's not like you're missing Nurkic going against a team like Embiid or Denver.
But now you're putting Trendon Watford or their backup bigs are, I don't know. I'd
rather have these young guys out there that are fighting for a spot rather than these vets. And I think it's shown when Portland shipped out Covington and some of these other guys that were going through the motions, right, and putting young players that are really fighting for their spot for the league, all of a sudden they start winning, man. I'm taking the 10 points with Portland at home. We the people is not with me here. Tyler, what do you think?
I mean, 10 points is a lot. I'm not looking to bet the spread in this one. Mm-hmm. I think Golden State wins it. 10 could be a lot here. They could backdoor you, but if you had to pin me down, give me Golden State. I just think I got this weird feeling Steph finally broke that shooting slump in that All-Star game. I mean, he basically just got to be given the ball, shoot it as much as you want. Dude hit 16 threes. You got to think the confidence slowly started to build back up right there. If he steps on the floor tonight and that jumper's back, they're just going to blow this team out spread. They don't guard point guards Portland does. He could easily put up a 40-10 game here. So I like his player performance doubles, 25 plus and win, 30 plus and win. But for the most part, I'm just staying away from this game.
I mean, Title, you might as well call me Sawyer. Sounds like I am on an island here, right? I'm here with Lost and the Smoke Monster. No one wants to be out here with me. I like Portland. Where are you at on this one?
I'm on the Warriors too. I agree with Tyler. I mean the Nurkic is a big thing for me, honestly, because he's still trying hard. Like I like what I'm
No,
still
he's a
seeing.
good defender and he's a rim protector.
Yeah, like and he rebounds well. Like I do like what I'm seeing. I do think they struggle on the glass today. I do like the pickup of Josh Hart. Anthony Simons is a straight up hooper. Like the guy's a stud for sure. But I will say, I don't point out individual matchups too much in the NBA. I know Tyler talked about Smart earlier. Gary Payton, I think he starts, and I think he gets a Simons assignment. And man, Gary Payton can play defense. He is not
They announced
someone.
him in.
Yeah, he's a starter according to
Like
Basketball Monster.
Kurt came out and said in an interview, he's like the goal for the second half of the year is to get him more minutes.
And Steve Kerr's finally seen, like, you can tell this guy's a difference maker. He can fly too. The guy can fly. But he makes a difference when he's on the court. His plus minus, he's gonna give guards problems. And I love Anthony Simons. I think he's so good. He's gonna get his, but I think that's a problem against Peyton. And you take away Simons from that offense, they just don't have the guys that compete. So that's where I'm leaning. Clay's a good defender. Steph's not really as much, but I don't know if you guys notice the same thing. It's just all eye tests. I don't know if the numbers are painting a true story, but Gary the Payton is just someone that I fear playing guys against.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm on an island here, and this pick might end up being like the 2022 dunk contest, right? Just a complete dud. But I'll go ahead and take the Blazers here, and this should be a lot of fun. And I expect to hear it from the chat tomorrow if I end up being wrong. So it's so much fun doing this show and having all these different opinions. Let's talk about my hometown team as they're hosting the Denver Nuggets. The Sacramento Kings are catching 4 points at home with a total of 234.5. Tyler, for 2 games, we were so excited about the trade as Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox led the team to a win. One thing you can say about De'Aaron Fox, man, talk about, this guy must not have been happy sharing that backcourt with Halliburton because he's averaging 28, 5, and 5 in the 4 games since Halliburton's gone. We're seeing that old De'Aaron Fox, right? They were comparing him to Tyrese Maxey, and I couldn't even argue. Now we're seeing the true greatness that we had seen for those first 4 seasons with De'Aaron Fox. Will it be enough, though, against the Denver team that, boy, after Jokic, right, there's quite the drop-off, and you can say, there's a lot of players we like on the Sacramento side more than these Denver role players. Sacramento will actually have an advantage on the bench minutes. That's going to be weird for them. But at the end of the day, right, as good as Sabonis is he good enough to compete and go one-on-one, basket for basket with Jokic? I think that's going to be a great test for him. We should see some Rashawn Holmes minutes tonight as they'll need him a little bit more going against him. I see Davion Mitchell's in, Jeremy Lamb's in. No DeMarcus Cousins. So that means Alex Len, I think, is in. He might get some minutes going against the big guy here tonight. I don't know what to make of this team, Tyler. Obviously, I'm emotionally involved. We're really excited. Maybe we finally got a winner. Then we came back to earth. But, hey, now we're back at home, and we know the NBA teams play a lot better at home. But they're going against the reigning and my MVP, Jokic. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, the total seems high, and the spread seems short, almost like a trap. And then you look at the back numbers on this game spread. The last 4 trips that Denver's taken to Sacramento, they've lost 3 of them straight up. They've lost 3 of them ATS. They're 1-3 up there. I think this is a weird matchup. Like, De'Aaron Fox is just going to be the best guard on the floor. If he has a big game and Sabonis can he don't have to match Jokic. Just stay close to him. Don't let him blow you out. Like, if he puts up his 30-point triple-double, give me 20 and 10 and 5. Just, play your normal game. I think they can win this game easily, too. So I'm going to small lean to Sacramento, but another game, these 2 late games, I'm pretty much staying away from. I like the early games better.
Yeah, 3 of the last 4. Maybe, they get out there, right, and they think that they got good weed in Denver, and then they find out what Humboldt County is really about when they come out here. Maybe a little bit hungover playing these games tonight. Titletown, what do you think?
I'm leaning taking the points for Denver. I lean Denver. I think Jokic is too much, but for DFS wise, I love Jokic, and I think I talked about it earlier where you just stack 2 studs in the same game from a game that's not going to be too popular. I think running it back with Fox, he's 8.4K, 8.3K on DraftKings, and I'm with you. I just think I don't think it was like Fox just didn't like backcourting with Halliburton. I just think he now knows he has to be that guy and he has to prove a point because he sees what the media is saying about that trade. And like, it's just a whole new gear in his mind. And now he's being a lot more aggressive. He's getting teammates involved. And I've been out on him since that trade in a couple DFS spots. I think he comes in pretty low owned again. And obviously, how do you not like Jokic? 12.5 is expensive. But if you go Rondo, if you go other value, even Dante DiVincenzo in this game, 4.3K, the minutes, mid-27, probably about 27 minutes. His usage is going to be there off the bench. I think he's a fine value. It's a 233 total. Sabonis can't stop Jokic. Nobody can, but Sabonis can't. And then Fox, he's going to get his. So I think this is an interesting game, a late-night hammer. And, Jokic, Fox, Dante DiVincenzo would be my other one. But I like Denver to get it done.
Yeah, and maybe, right, it's a little bit like that Aaron Rodgers situation where it's like, why do you guys keep drafting my replacement? Well, why don't you get me some help here, right? Yeah. Like, what does a point guard do to help me, right?
They nailed the draft. They really did. I haven't talked to you since that trade spread, but all I got to say is I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So you think it was a bad trade overall?
No, it was worse than bad.
All right. So what do you think about the Kings?
But I'm also the biggest Tyrese guy there is. Like,
what do you think of the Kings going forward here? Like, what should I expect? I love to hear the unbiased view because, out here they're definitely drinking the Kool-Aid. Do you think this team has it in them to make a run and maybe grab that play-in, or is this just business as usual and we're terrible?
I mean, I still think you're asking what they're 22-38, they're 13. I still think that it's asking a lot. Like, I do not think they're going to do that. But like I said in my tweet, like to maybe win a couple more regular season games, like, man, I just really, really don't see it. I don't think they get to the playing game. If they do, I think they lose. Like, I just don't think it's a great team. And man, Tyrese Halliburton, the kid's 21. Like, the kid has everything. He wanted to be there. Like, that was one of the biggest mistakes I think you could have made. And I was shocked to see it. He was shocked. Yeah.
We were all too, and I was really pissed. I don't know if you saw that day. I was on. I didn't even have the camera on.
Yeah, no, I did listen to a little bit. I didn't want to rub it in, but man, I know I'm biased. I think Tyrese is really. I think he's going to be an all-star, multiple. Like, I really think he's that guy. But.
Well, hey, good news for me here. A couple of the people in the chat are with me on the Kings tonight. They think they get the win. We the people like since the bonus double there as a performance double. Robert as well. He says the Kings win as the first game versus the team, and they're playing Saturday night as well. I don't Obsidian. Oh, okay.
Only if it was.
He's trying to sell the card.
Only if it was an NFT, Joey.
Oh, did you see that Fox NFT scandal?
No, I didn't.
He raised like 7 figures of Ethereum and then basically had to pull the project. Like,
who was it?
Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox rugged?
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah. So, I wonder if that.
Why is that not a bigger story? I'm surprised.
Probably because it's the Kings. I mean, can you imagine if it was a franchise that people actually care about?
Wow. I did not see that.
All right. Well, Titletown, love having you back talking NBA, man. We did the NFL this year, but this is our first time talking NBA. But guys, it's not done yet. Just a reminder, though, this breakdown is brought to you by Run Pure Sports and RunPureBets.com. If you're not a member, head on over, use that promo code GETBETS. And it's time for the Gregory Russo favorite segment, Best Bets. We will start with you, Tyler. What's your best bet of the day, side, total, or prop?
I'm going to roll with the Marcus Smart player performance doubles. He's killed Brooklyn in the 2 matchups earlier this year. They're going to focus on Brown and Tatum. I think he could easily get to 15, maybe 20 again. His 15-plus points in Boston's wins plus 230. If you think he can get to 18 and they win, 18-plus points and win is plus 540. Those are my 2 picks for the night.
Tyler drinking some Smart water this evening. Tyler, what do you got?
Give me. I love the bets Tyler posts about something player prop and then like the win. So I'm gonna give me that 8 and double with the Suns win, which is a little nerve-wracking because I would take the points with OKC, but I don't see the Suns team losing. So I like that double 8 and with the win. I don't know what that pay is, plus something, but I like it.
It's like plus 112.
We the people's with you too. And yeah, I mean, because you're getting 10.5 points off that spread. So it's not going to be too much, hey, and that's why I love having you young guys on the show. You guys keep me young, but I'm an old man. I'm going to go traditional. I'm just going to take a bet against the spread, and that's the Memphis Grizzlies -2 in Minnesota. Like I said, both these teams at full strength. It's kind of fun just handicapping an NFL game, right? We don't have to worry about fatigue. There's not an injury report that I'm waiting on. There's no wait for the news in this game, right? I get two teams at full strength that I know that are both going to give good effort, because we talked about both teams kind of in precarious positions where they can move either up or down in the standings. I expect both teams to take this game seriously, but the Memphis Grizzlies are the better team, and I love the approach that they will be able to shut down the Timberwolves' best players. So I am going to take the Memphis Grizzlies. Title, thank you so much for jumping on today. I'm going to have to reach out to you, and we're going to have to figure out a way to make these appearances more common as we work up to the NBA playoffs, because I definitely enjoy talking basketball with you. And we didn't get to talk about the Bucks today, but we're both big fans of Giannis, Middleton, and of course the fan favorite Bobby Portis. So we're going to have to.
What about the Deer District? No Deer District shout out.
Yeah, that's what you can do. You can go ahead and give it out right
now. It's coming up, spread.
All right. Tyler, do you have any words of wisdom for the people before we sign off?
I mean, we were a Milwaukee win away from hitting our parlay in the last show.
Could you believe that?
So, I mean, for the guys that were on it and in the Discord, we did hedge on Philly's money line at 2-1 the moment Giannis got that double-double. So
great
some
idea.
Guys made money. Let's see if we can finally punch the ticket home here.
That was a collapse.
The Marcus Smart 15+ points, Boston wins will be the first leg.
Okay.
We'll make titles pick the second leg, the 8 and double and win.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still think the Cavs get it done here. And Jared Allen could walk into a double against this Detroit team. We'll put his double and win in there. That gets us 15-1.
All right. And that's another a great reason to be a member of Run Pure Bets. I know a lot of you guys have very busy lives, and you can't hang out with us every day. Tyler always drops that in the Discord. So if you have a day where you're not able to hang out and watch the show with us, you're still going to get the great information. If you're not a member, use that promo code GETBETS. Tyler, are you doing double duty today? Are you about to start up on a Hardwood Live right now?
No, I'm not today.
Okay, so who's on today for the people?
I think it's JSU, who I subbed in for. I didn't ask questions. I think it's JSU Hoop Mangone, maybe.
JSU's for free today?
The schedule post All-Star break, the schedule changed up a little bit. So you'll see I'm Monday, Tuesday. I'm not Monday, Wednesday now. I'm Monday, Tuesday now on the free show. But yeah, you'll see some new faces on some new days for the Hardwood show and the premium show. So that's exciting.
You guys must have been cashing a lot of these 6-figure tickets, because you guys are feeling generous. You're giving the hammer JSU, right? The best tournament player in the world. The information's going out for free. What a company we work for.
JSU's giving himself it. JSU's the schedule guy. So
what a company we work for. Boy, we keep giving more and more to the people, Tyler. Just when I thought that, we couldn't give any more free content, JSU really ups the game. He's going to be on there for free. But, of course, there is the Up to Lock show. That is for the members, and that's why I'm so impressed with you guys making those last-minute pivots, man. You get news that we didn't even expect.
Don't say you guys, because I cannot do that. I cannot do what they do on the Up to Lock show. That is very, very hard.
That I'm telling you, that's the show that really it's unbelievable to just watch how quick they're able to pivot and analyze that information, process it out, and give out the winning picks. So always love watching the Up to Lock show. And I want to thank everybody for joining us today, man. It's so much fun having you guys back in the chat, man. It's great for me to get out hiking and clear my head, but I'm definitely glad to be back talking to you guys. And you guys in the chat make the show so much better. So we always appreciate everything you do. Hey, even when you remind me, when I say a player's out and he's really playing, or vice versa, right? I think the combined knowledge really helps us out when we're trying to get out these winning picks to you. So we always appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with the man I just spoke of, JSU. Normally here on Thursday. He's going to be here on Fridays. Title, how do you think that's going to work? Have you ever watched the Thursday show? I mean, we take about an hour and a half for 3 games. I have no idea how we're going to make it through that tomorrow.
I don't too often, but I do know JSU is one of the bigger talkers you will hear. So, yeah I'm not surprised about that. And, Tyler's going to have to, instead of speaking for 10 seconds, Tyler's going to have to speak for 2 seconds to get JSU in there a little longer.
Just a winning pick, that's it. No, hey.
Oh, I love it. Tyler gives out winner. He's straight to business. He gives out winners.
Right to the point. We ain't got to fill it with a bunch of nonsense. Right to the point.
I like it.
I mean, his profit per word is definitely the highest on the show. And Title, you want to know a mistake I made? I had J-Shoe and Mangone on the same show last season. Can you imagine how we were trying to work through that slate?
I guess I can't talk too much because
I got to the point where I'd be like, yeah, Spread, you got that one. I'm not coming on. We don't need 4 people. And I just sit here and just stare at the screen for an hour.
Yeah, I would do the same thing if I was you.
So, all right, guys. Well, anyways, we do have so much fun bringing this show and this content to you. Title, thanks again for coming on. Hardwood Live show starts in 15 minutes. What a great chance to go hit the workbench with a lovely young lady and come into that show refreshed. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. Ryan.